So are you just getting your life started? Are you in that phase where you just hit your 20s and you have several options, several life options to take on, such as going to school or start working right away, or going to a really expensive college, or even just being a bum, you know? That is also another option. So you have a bunch of options at the age of 20, and it's crazy because there's so much expectation for you when you're in your 20s. You just got out of high school, and now your parents, even the community, everybody around you, there's so much stigma with doing something right after you get out of high school. And there's so many options, and you're just so overwhelmed, and you don't want to let, your family members down, your significant other down, so you need to choose something. And a lot of us that are in our 20s, I'm in my 20s as well, a lot of times we just jump into the first thing we see. College, we jump into the first college that's close to us. We jump into the first thing that we think that's going to give us success, without really considering the facts with every single option, without weighing the pros and cons of each individual option. And that's very important. When we first hit our 20s, we're a little bit naive. Honestly, we are naive. We're inexperienced. We lack a lot of knowledge on life experiences, on things that can change your life forever. So I want to talk about some mistakes that you need to avoid in your 20s, mistakes that I have made in my 20s. And now that I've made them, I've realized, these were mistakes from the beginning. I wish someone would have told me that these were going to be mistakes, that these were going to affect me the rest of my life. Although I've overcome a lot of the mistakes that I've made, I wish I wouldn't have made them, because I would have been in a much better position today. And that's what I want for you guys. If you're in your 20s, mid 20s, early 20s, even you're in your teens and you're 17, 18, 19, you're looking for some clarity for your 20s. What should you choose? What should you not do? And those are the things I want to talk about today. So let's get into the video. Hey guys, my name is Jerry, and I talk about finance, money, and how to live your life financially free. So today I want to talk about how you can avoid these mistakes in your 20s, what mistakes they are, and how you can avoid them. So number one, let's talk about college. So most 20-year-olds decide that college is the option for them, and whether it's because of stereotyping, stigma, or peer pressure, or pressure from your parents, that's the route that a lot of teenagers make when they hit their 20s. So the first mistake is avoid attending college before you are ready. You're like, well, Jerry, how would I even know when I'm ready? How long is that gonna take? I don't have all day. I don't have all year to waste to be able to choose something for myself. So I think college is the best for me, because if I get a degree, I will be successful. And that's not necessarily true, And I'm not trying to say everybody should avoid going to college. That's not what I'm saying at all. I believe that college is a good thing. My wife went to college and it has paid off for her. Seriously paid off for her. But if you do not know what you want to do yet, why make an investment of tens of thousands of dollars in your 20s? When you just turned 20, you're gonna go make 10, 20, 30,000, $40,000 of an investment before you even know what you want to do. So avoid going to college before you're ready. So a few things. Know your major first. What interests you? What major do you want to choose? Go do tons of research. You would never make a $40,000, $50,000 investment on something that you've not done research on. So go and do your due diligence, do your research, go to these websites that are reliable where you can learn information, or go in your school, go to a financial counselor in your school, go to a career counselor in your school. Explain to them, look, I know I'm going to make a large investment in student loans that's going to affect me in my future. What are some good careers that I can look into to potentially choose for the rest of my life? And the second one, after you've chosen your major, have a plan to avoid going deep into debt. So there's certain hacks that you can do in regards to books. Don't buy new books. Rent them out. If you only need them for one semester, you can probably rent most books out for around $20, $15 to $20. You can rent them out for one semester. So have a plan to avoid going deep into debt. Do not pay for overly expensive courses or electives that you don't need. Choose a less expensive elective, or try to cut back on certain school costs, like going to the Starbucks that are on campus or going out to eat all the time. These are very important years of your life for you to save money and to live frugally, especially since you don't have a career. You're not making a ton of money, so you need to spend as little as possible. There's a saying, live like you're a broke college student, and that's what you should do when you attend college. And if at all you can have anybody to help you, or if you yourself can hustle hard and working, try to cash flow a certain percentage of your schooling, of your tuition. Tuition is super expensive right now. If you can go to a community college and cash flow some of that yourself, or ask your parents or grandparents to help you cash flow some of that, that would be amazing. If you can cash flow half of that, let's say for a trade school you spend $30,000 or $20,000 to $30,000 there, and you're able to pay half of that before you graduate, or by the time you graduate, you would be so far ahead financially compared to the average person that just took the entire amount in student loan debt. So the next mistake you want to avoid is getting into a lot of consumer debt. So what is consumer debt? We're talking electronics, cars, credit cards, material items that could potentially be just luxuries for you that you do not really need. When you're going to college, don't get a new car. That will destroy you financially. Don't get a new car. Don't buy the newest iPhone and put it on credit. Do not do that. Don't buy the most expensive laptop thinking that you need the most expensive laptop for college. I had a very old MacBook Pro when I was in college, and I was in college for 7 years, and that MacBook Pro worked perfect for me throughout all those years. It was a very old one, but it got the job done. I did not need an overly expensive laptop on a credit card that I would pay 20% interest on because I missed the payment because I'm a broke college student. There's no need for that. Do not buy overly expensive, top of the line, newest technology that you think you need for school and get it on credit. Do not do that. You're gonna destroy yourself financially for the future. You're gonna set yourself up for failure in the future. And when you get out of college, if you're not able to find a job right away, well, all this is gonna come and bite you in the butt. You're gonna get charged extreme interest rates, and that stuff might even go to collections and completely ruin your credit score. So avoid at all times, try to avoid that consumer debt that will eat you up if you're a college student. So when you're a college student, avoid that consumer debt. Get a used phone, get a used laptop, get used textbooks, rent them out. Go to your university website or go on Facebook Marketplace, or on eBay or on Craigslist and find those books used. Find that phone used. Find that laptop used, and you will save tons of money, and that's stuff that you'll own instead of putting on a credit card. Do not do that. Avoid that, and you'll be financially free and be set up for financial success when you're out of college, or even while you're in college. You'll avoid those unnecessary payments that at that time that you're a broke college student. So another mistake that I want to talk about that a lot of people make in their 20s is going out and getting an expensive place to rent and not renting instead with someone else, sharing rents with amongst many people, or even just living with your parents and paying a very reduced rent. So a lot of 20-year-olds, when they want to move out of their parents' home and go live a luxurious life and go get an expensive, really expensive apartment, when it's not necessary. And that apartment usually costs you around 50% of your income or more, which is insanity. If you go out and rent an apartment for $1,200 and in your 20s, starting out your career, or just working a job to get you by, or because you got a job to get out of your parents' home, and you're paying rent for $1,200 and your income is like $2,500 a month, that's insanity. That's gonna keep you broke. And you're not going to be able to move ahead financially. You're not going to see financial success for a very long time. So this is the time where people will not get mad at you. People will not criticize you for living with your parents or sharing rent with somebody because you're broke. No one expects you to have a place of your own, the newest car, or expensive stuff like that while you're in your 20s. No one will hate you if you stay with your parents for a couple of years and save some money up while you go to school or while you figure out what you want to do with your life. So save that money on rent by sharing rent with somebody or living with your parents for a couple of years. No one's going to hate you for that, and you're going to save tons of money by doing that. And that will also allow you to save money to buy a used car or buy those used laptops or phones that I was talking about, or used textbooks, or even be able to eat out more while you're going to college and you need all the time you can get on your studies. So the fourth major mistake you want to avoid in your 20s is to not invest in the stock market as soon as you can. Invest in a retirement account or in index funds in your 20s now, just because of the compound interest. You will never see the amount of compound interest that you will be able to see if you start in your early 20s or when you hit 20 years old. So what do I mean by this? So what is compound interest and what do I mean by this? Well, compound interest is money that is generating interest over time, and that interest capitalizes on that money you've invested, and that money combined is now accumulating interest. So let's say you invested $100 a month starting in your 20s, and those $100 are generating 5 to 10% interest per year. Let's say 10% interest per year. So the first year you generated 10% interest, so you generated about $10. Now the next year you're going to generate 10% interest on the $110 as opposed to just the $100 that you had put in. And this grows and grows over time, and the sooner you start, the more money you will have in those retirement accounts or those index fund accounts. And that is a mistake that I've made, that I didn't start contributing to a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA or index funds when I was 20 years old or when I was in my early 20s, when I could have, and I did not. Mainly because I did not really know much about that. And that's why I'm sharing this with you. If you just turned 20, if you're doing a part-time job, if you're whatever work you're doing, you're able to contribute to a Roth IRA. And this is very, very important. This will pay off significantly when you go to retire. And not doing this is a huge mistake that you can make in your 20s. Why? Because you will never be in your 20s again once you get out. You have a small window of opportunity to take full advantage and complete advantage of the entire potential that your Roth IRA or whatever investment you're making, that will generate you the most compound interest that you will ever get if you start in your 20s. So you need to take advantage of investing early in your early 20s, even if it's $50 a month or $100 a month. That will grow over time much more than probably any other investment that you can make in your 20s, especially if you're a broke college student. So that is definitely a major mistake that I've made that I do not want you to make. Invest something. Invest into Roth IRA, traditional IRA. If there's an employer match, at least invest into that. And the fifth and final mistake might be the most important mistake to avoid. And that is just wasting time not doing anything with your life. Your 20s, you will never be in your 20s again. Usually in your 20s, you're the most energetic. You tend to be the healthiest, with the most motivation that you will probably have in your entire life. This is where you can do the right things early on in your life that will set you up for success for the rest of your life. Their 20s are extremely crucial, and that is why I'm telling you about these mistakes. And this is probably the worst mistake that you can make. It's just do nothing. You get complacent. You're living with your parents are making decent money, your parents are giving you an allowance, or you're working a part-time job, and you come home and all you do is nothing that will help you to become successful in life. Maybe you're playing video games or watching movies and TV all day, and that's super easy to fall into that cycle of where you don't do anything successful for your life. And it could be hard to get motivated. It could be difficult to get up and do something for yourself, especially if every day you have that routine and you don't know what to do. I'm in this room, I'm watching TV, I'm sitting on my couch eating pizza. If I get up, where am I gonna go? Where can I find success? Where can I find something to do that will lead me towards success? And wasting your time with television, with playing video games, with doing things that will not lead to any success, that will not lead to anything in the future, is probably the worst thing that you can fall into, the worst mistake that you can make for your life, because time is ticking and you will never be as young as you were yesterday. You will never have the time today that you had yesterday. Those 24 hours of yesterday are gone forever. And today, minute by minute, that is leaving you, escaping your grasp. And that is why it is so important to not waste this time. You cannot wait for something to happen, for something to just hit you across the head, or for money to fall down from the sky on you. The opportunities come by you getting up and going and making effort to obtain those opportunities. Either going to school the right way, going to a trade school, going into some sort of apprenticeship, or going online to YouTube or to other educational websites to learn a skill, to do something for yourself, something that you're going to enjoy, something that's going to give you fulfillment career-wise or financial-wise. So I strongly believe that this is the most important mistake to avoid, and I've been guilty of this mistake. When I was going through college on my free time, even right as I got out of college, even though I started a job right away, I did waste about 5 months where I was kind of doing freelance stuff, but not really, because I was in that relaxed mode. I had just gotten out of college for 7 years, and I kind of wanted to relax, And yes, it's not a bad thing to want to relax, but there's a difference between like relaxing on weekends and relaxing for 6 months, because you can go into this cycle where you're not doing anything and you get used to that. You get used to someone else supporting you, or you get used to not doing anything for your life. You lose motivation, and that's where problems can actually start. So you want to have motivation. Go online. Start by a simple Google or YouTube search of how can I do a skill, or what is the best way to make money online, or how can you find something for your life to be financially successful or career-wise successful in your life. So these were the 5 major mistakes, and I've made some of these mistakes as well. And I just wanted to talk about these mistakes because I see a lot of people in their 20s. I'm still in my 20s, so I can definitely relate, especially since I've done these mistakes. And I wanted to talk about this because you're in your 20s. You don't know what you want to do yet. You're just starting your life, and it's very important to take the correct steps or at least avoid these 5 major mistakes as you go into your 20s and you start making these decisions in your life that heavily impact it. So if you got anything out of this, would you do me a favor and just leave a like? And if you've made any of these mistakes, or if you were gonna make any of these mistakes, let me know in the comment section down below. I would like to know if you were gonna make these mistakes, if you made these mistakes, or if you want to talk about alternatives to making these mistakes. Well, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, and I really hope that you can give this video a like and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks, guys.